Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and today we're going to take a look at the trine that is forming between Mars in the sign of Capricorn and Jupiter in Taurus, who has just recently turned direct and is starting to pick up speed. We examined this trine through this week's new moon episode. We looked at the new moon in Capricorn and talked a little bit about this trine. Today, I want to focus on the Mars trine Jupiter as an archetypal combination, sort of standalone, pulling it out of the context of the new moon and just reminding ourselves of what Mars Jupiter combinations tend to bring about. We'll qualify that a little bit by talking about the earthy element, the fact that Mars is exalted and Venus is in Jupiter is in Venus's sign and bound and stuff like that. So we'll add a little bit of context through their dignities, but mostly I want to talk about what Mars and Jupiter bring when they combine on an archetypal level. Anyway, that's our goal for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share your comments and reflections. Would love to hear from you guys. You can find a transcript of any of my daily talks, including today's, on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Don't forget that right now we have 3 courses starting this month. We have our Roots and Spheres program that meets on Thursday of this week. And we meet before new and full moons in community to look at the astrological energies of the month, to intentionally work with plant allies in kind of a monthly diet. And we also design various spiritual practices and rituals for each moon cycle to help us really sort of align ourselves with and immerse ourselves within the teachings of every moon cycle. So if you want to join us in community for that group, check it out on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Under the courses tab, Roots and Spheres, there's need-based tuition available if you need it. Our masterclass series begins next week. We're looking at the fixed stars in our first masterclass of the year. And our year 3 program is also ready to start. And if you need need-based tuition for any of those, you can check those options out on the website. Again, that's nightlightastrology.com. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We have our, let's take a look at the real-time clock, and we're going to look at here it is, Mars at 5:50 and Jupiter at 5:50. This comes through early morning, Friday, January 12th. It's very much present at the time of the new moon in Capricorn tomorrow, but we're going to be seeing this forming very slowly. You should be already feeling it. And you're going to actually, if we speed this up the clock a little bit and go beyond this date, you will notice that the trine between the 2 planets lasts a little while. So if we give it about 3 degrees of separation, we're getting all the way until about next Wednesday, where you should really still be feeling the connection between these 2 planets or noticing their effects. And then right after that, of course, Mercury is starting to get into the trine to Jupiter, which we'll be talking about next week. So a powerful archetypal combination in the sky. And it's important to note that as this combination is forming, Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, and that Jupiter is in the sign and bound of Venus. Those are some little details, both in earth signs, that we're going to mention today as we go along. Anyway, there are, with this Mars trine to Jupiter, there are 5 things that I want to look at today that will hopefully prepare us for this archetypal combination. And or just remind us of what it's like so we can notice it. And wherever you're able to notice an astrological combination and bring some consciousness into the equation, things generally go a little bit better. So anyway, the first one is growth through exertion and effort. Jupiter was associated in ancient astrology with those conditions in the environment that were conducive to the growth of plant life. For example, temperate, moist, warm weather, sunshine and rain. So anything that was considered, the environment was fertile. Jupiter could represent people, places, things that were conducive to growth, which is why we say the planet is associated with expansion. But expansion sometimes isn't quite the right word, because it's really more about anything growing rather than just literally getting bigger. Although getting bigger is one way of looking at things, but growth can be described in many ways that aren't just about something literally expanding, right? So expansion is like kind of like a byproduct. It's a word that qualifies growth, or it can be used to describe what kind of growth there is. It's an expansive kind of growth. So anyway, I say that just because one thing that you'll notice is when an exalted Mars in an earth sign is trining Jupiter in an earth sign. Jupiter's just turned direct, so it's picking up some nice momentum behind it, starting to go from a period of revision, reflection, inertia, maybe even stagnation, and kind of a reflective breakdown And now it's turning direct. It's trying to implement new things, and Mars is giving it a lot of oomph. So you get this quality of growth through exertion and effort. And you get that pretty much whenever Mars and Jupiter get together, although sometimes it can be more, there can be more conflict almost, or more of a sense of like power struggle that can come up, especially when they're opposed to one another. But a trine, nice, smooth, supportive, the idea of growth and a kind of fertile, practical, growth-oriented energy that comes with exertion and effort. Number 2 is the building or growing of confidence. Mars at its best, when it's exalted, helps us to feel stronger, more confident. Now, of course, there's going to be some shadows of that. We'll visit in another take here in a moment, but building or growing confidence. Now, the word confidence etymologically, let me bring it up because I thought it was interesting. Here it is. So, assurance or belief in the goodwill, veracity, etc. of another. So, in other words, that there's a sense of being able to trust that something is going well. You could have confidence in yourself. I've got this. I can do this. Things are going well. Things are conspiring to support me. And it's like an optimism that's not rooted in just blind faith. There's a sense of evidence mounting that supports. Like if you ever watch a team on the floor, as the momentum swings in their favor, they all start gaining confidence in their game, right? On a basketball court or something like that. So it's this sense of an assurance that we have that something is going to work, that something's taking hold, that something will turn out in the way that we think it will. A reliance on one's own powers, resources, circumstances. And then you also have the idea of, something that you are in possession of something. That's an interesting. Being in possession of something gives you confidence. If I have a sword and I'm, I don't know why, but like I had a sword and I was, worried about, I don't know, someone taking advantage of me, it gives me some confidence that I have like a weapon. Not that I recommend like wielding weapons. go to your grocery store with a sword. That just makes me feel more confident. You get what I'm saying? Number 3, developing a vision or an ideal into concrete forms. Remember, we've talked a lot about Jupiter turning direct as a time in which a reflection, a revision, a breakdown, and a reconstitution of larger values that are part of creating systems of order. What kind? Venusian, stable, luxurious, beautiful. The picture of Jupiter is really in Taurus is really one of luxury and stability and peace. It doesn't have to be vain or greedy or anything like that. It could be, but when you think about an exalted Mars in Capricorn trining Jupiter in this earthy Venusian place that exalts the moon, it's in Venus's bound and Venus's sign in Taurus right now. So you get the idea of like growth through exertion or effort, also developing a vision or ideal into concrete form, which is the element of earth being emphasized. Now, the next piece is the shadow, and that is the development, or the unfortunate development, I should say, of inflation or the excessiveness, particularly of Mars. When Mars hits the trine to Jupiter, it's like someone maybe gaining some success, but then becoming cocky. It's about someone becoming, confident, but in a way that is cocksure, destructive. It's kind of like a machismo that's getting inflated. And that's the thing we want to be really careful about. The trine between these two can be so practical and constructive and useful. And it can be so much about building a sense of momentum or confidence. But there's also the potential shadow here, which might be domineering. Someone who, it's sort of like, I think it's the 5 of Swords in the Tarot. It shows a guy who's won a victory and he's got a bunch of swords. He's looking sort of cocky and these other people are walking off looking dejected. It's sort of like a hollow victory because you've achieved it in a way that makes you look like a jerk, or that reflects that you're being a jerk. So inflation or excessiveness of Mars, something I'd be a little bit careful of. Or like, the Mars-Jupiter connection is a little bit like toxic masculinity, that phrase that was floating around. I don't feel like a few years ago I heard that all the time. So, maybe something like that, but it's in a feminine sign too. It can really be for all humans. Any human being whatsoever can get enticed by power, greed, wealth, and feel like I'm bigger than you, I'm more important than you, I've got more, so if we think about our worth only in terms of various hierarchies, then Mars Jupiter is this combination is potentially not bringing out the best in us. But finally, greed, lust, vanity, power, success as shadows. Remember that Jupiter in Taurus is a little bit like King Midas and the golden touch. It's like, yes, you can build things, but the extent to which what you're building or developing is informed by greed, lust, possessiveness. There's a minotaur growing in the basement of the castle. And so, we want to be careful about those shadows of material greed, material lust, the things that we try to build or develop that give us confidence, but it's a kind of vain confidence. And the difference is really in our consciousness. For example, I think there's probably many examples of people who have become, very successful or very fit, or, like let's say you're successful in your job and you have more earning, but you don't act pretentious. You don't go out and buy a Ferrari or something. You still live humbly, and you try to use the energy of your achievement to do like good things, or you stay modest about it or whatever. And then there's people who get really fit. Oh, your body looks amazing. You look so beautiful. Yeah, but the benefit is really that I feel good, and it's nice to look good, but I'm not getting attached to that, right? We have to be very careful and on guard about those things when you have such a powerful earthy trine coming through with Jupiter and Taurus. It's kind of luxurious, kind of abundant. Yeah, but don't get lost in the power, the greed, the desire, the lust. Those are shadows right now of this trine, and really of the moon cycle to come, which we talked about in yesterday's video. So these are the things that I would watch for with Mars trine to Jupiter. And again, that trine is coming through by Friday. It's a big part of the new moon, but you'll be feeling it through the middle of the next week as the 3-degree range of separation takes place. So just something to be aware of. And then they continue in whole sign configuration to one another with a bunch of, Mars has a lot more. There are many more powerful aspects to come with planets coming through Capricorn, like Mercury and Venus hitting Jupiter, Mercury getting into the conjunction with Mars and Capricorn. So there's a lot more to say about this exalted Mars. This is a good one to start with because it's, happening again right at the time of the new moon. So anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm doing some of these videos this week are a little bit short because, as you guys know, I took the first week of the month off to kind of reset myself and get into a creative rhythm again with my content after the Kickstarter, which was a huge outpouring of creative content at the end there. So my videos are a little short this week because I'm just trying to catch up and get into my normal production rhythm again. And then you'll see some longer content coming about after I'm feeling sort of caught up with everything. But anyway, I think it's nice to do short content once in a while too. It's nice to have kind of concise, quick overviews of things. So yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there. I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget, Masterclass starts next week. Year 3 program is starting this week. Roots and Spheres is starting this week. Any of those programs you want to join, check them out under the courses tab on nightlightastrology.com. Check out the need-based tuition options if you want to join but need a little help. And hope to see some of you at our Moon Circle tomorrow night. All right, that's it for now. Take it easy, everyone. Bye.